Welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, private detectives, housekeepers, assassins, murder heads, and congressmen being blackmailed to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Emily.
We're here to talk about Season 4, Episode 3, Keep Calm and Party On. Yes.
How many congressmen and women people do you think are currently being blackmailed?
I think there's a lot. Or they're at least taking money and, yeah, maybe blackmailed would be lower. And,
threatened with blackmail.
Well, I think that would be lower than just people that just are taking a payout. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is very much in the realm of possibility that most people are not being held to the fire and are just like, well, I'd do it for money. Or there's enough people in my ear bugging me all the time about this that, yeah, of course, I won't do anything about it. But in this case, it's the opposite. He has to stay in and vote no on things, which took me a few seconds to wrap my head around.
Yeah, they're using him because it's like, oh, he's progressive, but then he voted no on these very weird, crucial progressive movements.
Right. Which is a weird one.
Minimum wage and gun control.
Yeah. So what the fuck are you doing? Vote Maloof out.
Yeah. Obviously, this man's bad at his job.
Right.
He's more afraid for his reputation than he is for doing the right thing.
Right. Well, then he would probably be out of a job anyway. He'd probably get what he wants.
True.
I mean, he would potentially lose his family. But you know that comes with, I guess, what you did, not being open with your wife.
Yep.
Yeah. But outside of that, I think this episode's pretty great.
Yeah, I think this one's all right.
I had a great time not doing anything to do with Veronica and Logan's relationship troubles.
Well,
I was like,
just brief comments on it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, as long as I know it's going to come up in the future, this is unresolved. But for now, I'm, we can just put it on the back burner. We don't have to think about it.
It's that like being able to repress things thing that really happens in their relationship. Like, oh, we're just both going to pretend like everything's okay right now.
Right. Exactly. And no more of the voiceovers for the episode of Veronica saying it's her fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it's like, no, Logan, he did some damage, and you have some damage, and we all have some damage, and we all need to go to therapy.
Well, yeah. Or at least start working through your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, just less of all that stuff of like, well, look at how fucked up Veronica is. And we just get some good old PI in.
Exactly. Some private dicking.
Yep.
Shall I start us off?
Yep, on that.
Shall I begin our private digging?
Please, by all means.
We open with Veronica. She's running at 5 a.m., which is not something that your average 5-foot woman can do. Not because we're incapable of mornings, but because we don't all run with... Where's the taser when she's running?
Yeah, I was very curious about that. But she could have like
a belt.
Yeah, I didn't like notice the belt.
I didn't pass when we did the practice test for the PI thing, so I don't know like if she has to like show what she's carrying and where. You remember?
Yeah,
I didn't do so great because I didn't study.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I was taking the test.
I don't think with tasers you have to show.
I don't think you can take a taser anywhere.
Interesting. News to me.
I don't know though. I don't know what the rules are on tasers.
Yeah, I have no idea. Interesting. Yeah, I always thought that you would just be able to, that women are just able to bring it in their purse or like on them.
How do I get it? You know what I mean? Like, and then
yeah, how do you purchase it?
Are there rules
Home
around
Depot?
that? Hey Siri. I don't have my phone near me, so I can't look it up, but we'll figure it out later. But Veronica's running, and a man attacks her.
A boy.
Someone in a hood.
Mm-hmm.
And some baggy pants, the whole look. Hoodlum look, in quotes.
Yeah, totally.
He calls her a bitch. Veronica goes, oh, you're a PCHer. He goes, how did you know? She goes, I can tell because you are a high schooler and you're wearing a motorcycle glove. And, I happen to know the PCHers.
Mm-hmm.
He wants her wallet and her phone, so she tases him. and then takes a photo of him and then collects the bag of wallets and phones that he's collected from other people, and she takes his wallet.
Yeah.
His name is Juan.
Yes.
And when she looks through his stuff,
Juan Diego de la Cruz.
she finds 6 crisp $100 bills in Juan's wallet, which inspires her conspiracy theory that leads us through the rest of the series and episode.
Right. Oh, it's the billing at the end. But Juan Diego is played by Tyler Alvarez, who I knew from American Vandal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that show.
You did like that show. Was that the one about the something to do with poop?
That's the second season, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, fake true crime documentary about a crime happening at school. The first season is someone keyed cars with a bunch of penises and put penises everywhere. Or spray painted penises? I can't remember
it was like
which.
painted penises.
Yeah, and it had the YouTuber, you knew who he was.
Jimmy Tatro?
Yeah, there you go.
I met him at a Beta Theta Pi party. Here's a picture of me with Jimmy Tatro.
How is he?
He was blacked out.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they weren't letting people in to meet him, but I had a friend who was very close with Beta Theta Pi, and so they let me, and I had been working, so I was late to the party, so I got to go in and meet him, and I have this picture of me with him, and he is just fucking drunk off his ass, and I was stone cold sober because I had just left work, so I think it just makes him look even drunker.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Just
like,
by comparison.
Yeah, because I'm just like tiny and like clean because I just come from work, and he's just like sweaty and like just all the frat party things, and it's like in this kid's room that's just like filled with boys, and then like me and my one friend, and it's just like because they had like taken him in there because he was really drunk.
Bro, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then everybody sort of starts gathering around him.
Well, I don't, and then it was whatever. I don't know what happened to him after that point, but then we left. But yeah, no, he had a very popular YouTube channel. I don't know if he still does. I don't know what he does. I can't imagine.
What did he even do? Was it like skits at the time?
It was skits, and it was just like being a frat bro.
Oh, okay.
Like frat bro skits.
That guy fits that bill.
Yeah.
That's who he plays in American Vandal. But it's like, damn, look at how sad. It's the frat bro, but nobody likes him. And it's like, oh, he's like so sad. And like he acts like so oversized, but he's got this really core group of friends that all act like idiots, but like they're friends to each other. It ends up being really sweet, and they use him pretty well in that.
Love it. Yeah, I don't know what his content is now, if he still creates it or what he does, because I don't.
Yeah. Judging by...
Even at the time that I met him, I was no longer watching him.
Yeah.
Just if that makes sense.
Judging by the YouTuber pipeline that it currently exists, it can't be good if he is still on there.
Yeah. So regardless, Veronica, we find out she's got a theory now, and we'll dig into that as we go through the episode.
Right.
Thanks to Juan's wallet with his crisp 6 $100 bills. Because why is this young PCHer getting paid in hundreds and clean money? Like crisp money.
Yeah, because it's in his wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we cut over to Alonzo and Dodi.
Yes.
I write them as the dynamic duo sometimes, and then I have to remember their names because that's just what I call them in my head.
I like it. I
love them.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, they're not good.
Yeah.
But they're great characters.
They're really great. And I think it's a lot of that is
it's definitely the actors. It's not the role itself.
Totally. We'll get into a scene later that I think like brings up some of the issues around like the weird thing where they like force them to speak English all the time in the writing. But I don't know. It strikes me as strange.
It does. So the woman at the hotel, or Alonzo, basically, is he's got a thing with the housekeeper, a woman who works at the hotel. And she drops off her homemade shampoos for Alonzo, and they flirt in the doorway while Dodi watches TV. Then we go over to the pizza guy and Maddie. They're having a little chat, and he's at work. He's telling her about the Lily Kane case. Says that Keith bungled the whole case, and we still don't know who did it, which we know who did it.
Right. Yeah. This is the one thing I do really like about this episode. Why I ended up really I think really positive on it is all the stuff they do with Veronica and the Lily Kane murder.
Well, and I even like that they build the foundation of her and Maddie's relationship off of that. It's like, what do you do when someone who's really important to you is just like brutally taken from you for a reason that it's senseless to you, and it makes absolutely no sense to you. You don't even know if it was about that person or like why it happened, and like how do you move from there? And how like we'll get into it in a little bit when they're together, but like how it feels so much better to do something about it than it does to just sit there.
Yeah.
And like, I think what the show doesn't do well, and we can probably dig into this later, is they really do a disservice to the idea that it is possible to both take action and feel your feelings at the same time. And it is possible to use those feelings to fuel your action. It does not, I don't think it's necessarily like, they kind of use it as like a Veronica took action instead of processing her emotions.
Yes. And that's this like that.
And that doesn't make sense.
No. And it wraps back around to the like, she hasn't grown because she has never processed all these things that has happened to her. And so now that's like that's why she's like doesn't want to move forward and is like
she's
stuck.
Hardened.
Yeah. Which it's strange to me too.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense because you watch her in previous seasons grow and change.
Yeah.
And become a character, like a person who is I mean, truly the only person who's given a true arc is Logan.
Yeah, 100%.
No one else gets a true character arc. But you kind of like, you watch her build trust with people like Jackie. That's a great example. Like characters that you're like, oh, like why is this character behaving this way? Like Veronica's really skeptical and then like grows to trust and like do things for. And I think or even like Weevil, like watching her build a relationship with Weevil and like what that relationship looks like and like how far she'll go for him. To then say that she's hardened like doesn't make any sense because it's like she definitely has a lot of compassion. So it's just odd.
Yeah, and I think you could point back to the movie too as like her being like, I ran away from everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming back and I'm facing it again.
But I think that's less about Lily Kane and more about that case than it was about the sex tape. It was about like how like like the wherever she went, she was constantly being ostracized and bullied, and she wanted space from that, which I think is very different than saying like it all is because of her. Though in the movie they kind of try to put it partially on her alcoholic mother, and then like the Lily Kane case.
Yeah, they
comparisons to that
totally. But just like in terms of like she's there, that's like she grows in that of like realizing like, okay, I don't have to like run away from these things. I can like come back and like actually find strength in this again.
And that success doesn't have to look like getting out. It can look like making where I am better.
Totally.
Which is like a beautiful message that they could have used. And instead they were like, no, she gave up her future to sit in this do-nothing town.
Right, yeah.
With the motorcycle gangs.
Yes, and the beaches, and it's so dirty it needs an enema.
But yeah, it's just, it's interesting. But so we're at the pizza shop, pizza guy and Maddie. He's telling her about the Lily Kane case. Keith bungled the case, et cetera, et cetera. And then these white boys in white polos show up to ask the pizza guy, like to be like, we're in support of you. And then we find out that they're racist, like wildly racist towards the senator.
Oh, totally.
And that's why they're like, thank you for throwing Maloof under the bus.
Yeah, they're like prototypical, like white frat bros of like that are just like, damn, yeah, you got like. You're totally taking him down.
They're like, yeah. And then
racist Middle Eastern slurs. Oh, but did you notice that the guy with the blonde hair was the dude from Euphoria?
No.
Yeah, it took me a minute to like click.
I didn't even really look at them. I was just like, oh, white boys, white polos.
Yeah. No, he's
I don't notice white men.
Right. he's the guy who hooks up with oh God, what's her name in the pool, and then has his like life absolutely crushed, and his face literally caved in by the other guy.
Oh, yeah, I would have never remembered that though, but
I mean, in Euphoria, he's got like a neck brace more most of the time, and like missing teeth, and like a black eye.
yeah. And so then we also find out this guy comes in to interview the pizza guy to put him on TV because like more people want to talk to him. So we get that. We also know the pizza guy's still working at his pizza guy job, as the pizza guy boss is not happy about that.
Penn Epner. I wrote down. If you think I wrote down Patton for every single time he came up, hell no, I'm not writing his name. I can't get it to stick in my brain.
I wrote pizza guy every time.
There you go.
So then we go over to the Maloof family who's watching this happen on TV. Logan's there, security, and Alex basically finds out through the pizza guy's interview that his family tried to pay off Tawny to not marry him. And the family does not know that Logan can speak Arabic. And so they're talking to each other in Arabic. And basically the mom's like, we did it for your own good or whatever. So then Veronica and Keith show up at the Maloof hotel room because they're like, hey, we just found all this out. And Senator Maloof is like, yeah, I also need to tell you more. Like, I've been being blackmailed. And so like,
yeah,
I've been blackmailed by someone. And so that's why I've been voting in these very specific ways, like against weapon or assault rifle bans and against minimum wage raises. And it's because the blackmailer has a video of him masturbating to a cam girl.
Yes.
Which I'm just like, no shame, you do you, but like, good God. I don't know. It's dumb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb. And it's also dumb to be like, yeah, I did this thing and then now I'm being blackmailed and so I'm voting these certain, like, no, just it comes out now.
Right.
Like, that's it. Like, the end, and then your career's over.
Yep, but that's how this goes.
He doesn't want the video leaked because he's like, my poor teenage daughter and her younger brother. And I'm like, well, I guess
you just don't want to lose them.
Yeah. And I'm like, why don't you just tell your wife you did this? Don't masturbate to a cam girl.
I'm not.
If they threaten to release your sex tape, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
I mean, you do you and whatever, but you gotta be honest in your relationships. And
totally.
It doesn't seem like he is, and so
no, he's not. So that's why
he's nervous about it.
Exactly.
And so Veronica's like, well, I think I can try to trace who's blackmailing you. Like, I doubt they're the person who planted the bomb because it just seems like low incentive to like why blow up your brother. But so she's like, I think I have someone who can help. And at first we're like, must be Mac.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's not. Spoiler alert.
Which made me so sad. And that's what I was trying to look up. I don't think she is part of this fourth season at all, which is really sad.
I know. I think they said she was in Lebanon. No, she's in Istanbul.
Istanbul, yeah.
So then we go over to Alonzo and Dodi, who are also watching this thing on the TV, and they're like, we gotta go kill the congressman.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica and Keith are then having a little chat. She's like, yeah, I doubt the blackmailer's the bomber, but we'll do our due diligence. And he's like, well, I've got a lead on the rat case at Hughes Market. Hughes Grocery?
Hughes Reduced.
Hughes Reduced. So then he's like, I'm going to look into this. They go do their respective detectiving, some private dicking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You got to do the other stuff.
Your admin.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go over to the police chief and the mayor. They're having a little fight because the mayor wants to bring in the FBI because the police is not paying attention to the rest of the town. They're only trying to solve their media case. They're like big trial thing going, not trial, but Their big whirlwind going on there. And he's like, I need you present because we got PCHers robbing spring breakers. We've got spring breakers doing God knows what.
Yes.
We have spring breakers.
Yeah. So, and for, oh God. This actor also is another one. It's like, oh, you're that guy. He's Charlie's uncle from Always Sunny, who's a lawyer and is really weird about his small hands.
Oh. I hate
Yes.
Always Sunny. It makes
know.
me physically uncomfortable. I have never met a television show that like, and it's like, it's not even that I'm like, I mean, I don't think it's funny. I think that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, it physically makes me uncomfortable.
Yes,
like
all the screaming.
It's screaming. It's just white men and then like one woman who they bully.
Yes.
And they literally like get off on bullying her.
Yes.
And like, that's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good plot point. It's just sexist.
It is.
And it's, call it satire, call it what you want, but it's not good. In this essay, I will. And I'm not even saying the people on the show aren't talented, but it makes me angry.
I know it makes you angry.
It makes
That's
me
why
so angry.
don't.
I would rather watch
anymore.
Seinfeld before I'd watch Always Sunny.
Oh well. Okay, that makes more sense.
I don't like Seinfeld either, but I like it.
Yep.
But you know, just a little,
If
just
you want to get
Emily
under
Tiggs.
Emily's skin.
Good God, yeah. There's just something so awful about that show. It makes me feel sticky.
Yes. Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%.
And I feel anxious thinking about it. So
Yeah.
then, we also police chief, the chief of police, that's what I was gonna say, has our Senator Maloof in to interview him. And he and Logan are waiting there. And she kicks Logan out so she can talk to the senator. We don't know what they talk about. We do know that Logan sees something on the wall and he takes a photo of it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah, was not expecting what it was.
Me neither. I didn't remember this at all.
No. What a fucking weird thing.
We'll get to that in a bit. Veronica's cooking dinner when Logan gets home. She's like, I need your help. And he's like, I can tell you're making dinner. She's like, will you look into why someone's blackmailing Maloof? Because I need someone with high government security clearance. And whatever Logan does now, he's high level security clearance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Super secret ops, whatever, doing whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Some super
Navy
super
SEAL.
spy.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Is he like SEAL Team 6?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he is in the Navy, so.
Mm-hmm. And we find out that I always assumed that's what they were alluding to, but I didn't know. We find out that Logan can speak Arabic here, and he tells Veronica that he's been listening to the Maloofs and that like the mother had been the one who orchestrated trying to pay off Tawny to not marry the son.
Yeah. Do you want to know why we went to Logan for the hacking thing and not Mac?
Because Mac was busy.
No, she decided not to come back.
Oh.
So Rob Thomas talked to her and said, like, she's like, yeah, what would like my storyline be? And she's like, he's like, well, you won't really like have one. The series regular character is going to take like a back seat to like the overarching mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah. The schedule reflected, here's a quote for her. The schedule reflected to me the diminished value of Mac in this new world of Veronica Mars. There was no room for my beloved hacker queen, and as conversations continued, it only became more clear. So I made the decision not to participate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially if she was just going to be like a one episode, even if she had like a full episode, but just like a one moment plot point, like it's not worth having her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I mean, that's a perfect way to just say she's off somewhere. Yeah. And she's happy. She's like, yeah, I'm fine with where she was in the movie.
Yeah. Well, and I think also there's that piece of like where they did that character so dirty in every season.
Right. And it kept being like, we're going to give you more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do not blame Tina Margarino at all.
No.
Beloved star that we found out in our sister podcast, but really though, beloved star of Andre, the real life story of Andre the Seal.
Yeah, and you can stream, but really though, wherever you're streaming this podcast, though is spelled THO.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find it on
it's a good time.
Twitter at but really though pod.
Mm-hmm.
Look, now we don't have to plug that one at the end.
Exactly.
One and done, baby. Could sprinkle them in like Parmesan cheese.
Right, exactly. We'll be doing product placement for our own products, much like the Allbirds product placement, which is later in this episode.
Oh my god. Well, and speaking of sprinkling it in like Parmesan cheese,
Oh,
the doorbell
Gene Parmesan?
rings. No, the doorbell rings. It's the pizza guy.
Woo! That is a good one.
Thank you. I was like, you're interrupting my funnies.
I know.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry.
forget the joke. I have ADHD. I can't pay attention long enough to get to the punk line.
Yeah.
The punk line. Oh God, pull out my chokers. No, the pizza guy is there, and Veronica had ordered a pizza because she was like, I want you to tell me your theory on why you think it's Maloof. And he's like, well, I've got evidence, and you can see it at the next Murderhead party. It's gonna
Murderhead party.
It's gonna be a little get together in my weird basement house thing.
You mean his lovely studio apartment?
But it looks kind of like a jail cell in this scene. It's like dark.
Yeah.
It's dark. I don't like that. And he's light.
Yeah.
Bad people live in the dark.
What about Batman?
And the Ninja Turtles.
There you go.
I don't think Batman's a good person.
Michelangelo would be very upset.
I will give a pass to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't give a pass to Batman. He's not who the fuck wants to hang out with Batman? He's a rich kid who's real upset about something that happened to him, and he locked up his emotions.
He did indeed.
Like that. You know who we should be talking about is not Veronica.
It's Batman.
But the emotional stunted like just like rich boy issues of Batman.
Okay, here's our script. Logan, Veronica, why is there this distance? Veronica, it's Batman.
I was born in the distance. You merely adopted it.
I'm still upset over the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
So they're like, yeah, we'll go to your weird Murderheads get together. Your little weekly club meeting. You shindig. You party.
Yeah, a bunch of wild people.
Then Logan gets a text message. It says, will you bring me pants? This is Dick. And Logan goes, I don't know why he felt the need to tell me it was Dick. Like, who else would text me, bring me pants?
Mm-hmm. It's all very good. Especially Jason Doring, like, given, like, good stuff in, like, this season and not, like, season 3. Why hasn't he gotten more gigs?
Do you think he tries to get more gigs?
I don't know.
Do you think he's
Maybe
just
not.
sitting easy on his Veronica Mars money?
I guess.
I don't know. I have no idea. I know nothing about it.
I know he gets like recurring roles and stuff. You know what? He's making all that Kingdom Hearts money off the 2 games he was in.
He's in Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Yes.
It's documented. You can listen to it.
Yes. In episode 0 of this exact podcast.
Fun fact, I remember none of it.
He is Terra in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't play that game, though. Right?
In what one?
Birth by Sleep?
Oh, I played 2.
Yeah, so he's not in that one yet. He comes after that.
I played the one where where you get the Halloween Town land. The first one where you get that, I think, which is the second one.
You get it in both.
Do you get it in the first one?
Yes.
I think I've played 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. The second one is where you get Halloween Town with Christmas. Before it's just Halloween Town.
Yeah. All I know is that's my favorite outfit for Sora because, like...
Guy liner.
I love guy liner. Let me put a little eyeliner on you.
Okay.
Actually, I don't...
This is Halloween.
I don't think I have any black eyeliner for like that's pencil for that. I'll have to get some.
Okay, that's fine.
No, we'll get some.
Oh, no, too bad.
Nope, we'll have to get some. Put it on the cart. So instead of doing Brenton's makeup, we'll keep going with this. So Logan is like, Veronica, do you want to come with me? He's at Comrade Quack's, and you can go pick up the footage that you asked for, the security footage from Nicole. So they go to Comrade Quack's to take Dick his pants. He's the party czar. He is, so this scene, we get there, and Dick is the party czar. I mean, there's no other way to phrase that.
Yeah, MC.
Yeah, he's MCing, he's dancing, and, like, it's hilarious because it's, like, Dick and, like, it's a TV show, but, like, if you saw this in real life, you would be like, what sad
why you're on spring break?
30-year-old man is on spring break.
Yeah, like, getting aggressively dry humping and then like getting in the way of these dancers.
And like choreographed routines and just like being in
Right.
the way.
I mean, yeah, exactly. They're like the dancers are giving it their all, and then like I guess it's part of it that he's gonna come up behind him and they grind on him.
Yeah.
But like, just like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Dick.
And so they rip off his pants, and that's why he needed new pants.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, you can't put. It's hard to put back on the tearaway ones. Got to rebutton them.
Yeah, I mean, those didn't look like they were tearaway pants. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, so he just cut them
I think those are pants that he was just going to lose in that transaction.
Right. So they like pre-cut them so that they're easier to rip.
Yeah, you know.
Behind the scenes, this is the sausage gets made.
The costuming.
Uh-huh.
So Veronica, while this is happening, goes upstairs to see Nicole to get the footage, and Nicole's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll get it for you. Also, like, let's have a drink. Here's my nice alcohol and my fancy decanter, because you should have a drink in your hand."
Mm-hmm.
And then Logan and Dick come up to the office, and they're like all just talking or whatever. She's like, Nicole's like, "Dick, aren't you supposed to be down there judging the dance competition?" He's like, "No, you gotta give them 40 minutes to let them get started, and so that they buy drinks." And she's like, "Huh, you're actually pretty smart, Dick."
Mm-hmm. This is first year doing this? That's what I wondered. I'm like, this is like, how many years has he done this?
Or like, is this the first time doing it for Comrade Quacks?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know
maybe.
what I mean? Like, did she recently? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably more correct.
Because also, like, yeah, his dad's trying to destroy her business. So, like, how does that work?
Right.
So then
cognitive dissonance is really how the Casablancas family seems to be run.
Yeah, but how does that work for her?
Like hiring him on?
Yeah. Is she doing that on purpose?
Uh-huh. Oh, that's true.
And so then she's like, "We should all do E," and so they all do E, which is just like.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're just gonna have a fun scene where everybody's fucked up, and
it's cute. Yeah, they all dance, whatever. I think that they do a really good job of showing what it would be like if people in their late 20s, early 30s went out for a night, drank too much, and did Molly.
Yes.
Because it really seems like it's like, yeah, they're dancing. Veronica makes them put on
no scrubs.
Everyone's having a great time. It does look like a lot of the other people there are around their age. That does not look like everyone there is on
Right.
spring break, but it doesn't matter. It's not quacks. You're there for a good time.
Yeah, it's TV 20 or 21.
TV 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next morning, we get a cute scene of Logan standing in the shower. Did he invite Veronica to his throne? Is that what he said? Well, I don't remember what he yelled.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or his office. I don't know, something, because he's standing in the shower just dying, and she throws up.
Oh, he seems like perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's trained for this.
He's trained for this.
God damn it, this man served our country.
Well, and also, like, did he even do it?
Oh, that's true.
Like, I don't remember.
That's what you did. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, I was just assuming he didn't do the drugs.
Right. Just makes me think of Peep Show of fucking Mark pretending to do fucking E, and then he has to like sell it to everybody that he's like done E, and he has no idea what it is, and he's like talking to his girlfriend, and he's like, "I have the famous munchies."
Yeah. Then Veronica has a knock at the door. She goes to the door, and it's her father. He's like, "You look a little hungover, my child." He gives her some shit.
Yeah. He uses his great detective skills.
Exactly. And so he's like, he's like, "Do you want to come with me? I have like a lead on Hughes." And she's like, "No, I was going to watch all the footage from Comrade Quacks." So, and she tells him as she gets ready to show him the footage that she wants a sap glove, because that's what we find out that that's the weighted glove that Nicole had.
Yeah, with BBs in it.
Yeah, it's got BBs in the knuckle.
Jesus Christ.
Are you allowed to own those? Because like,
I doubt it.
Your girl could, you know.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna look like twice at like the bar owner.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
And she only like slips them on to really. Damn. No, I mean that must really fuck someone up.
Yeah, it can't be okay for their face.
No.
I mean, you know, if she feels the need to punch you, maybe.
Totally. Yeah. Maybe your face should be punched.
Yeah. Veronica and Keith go to work, doing their detective thing. She shows him some of the footage from Comic Quacks. He tells her about the Rat King who was releasing the rats because Hughes had sold him a bad steak.
Yes.
Which she's like, that seems a bit over dramatic. And he's like, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody, we're waving the flag here. Maybe remember this for later.
Yep. Maddie walks into Mars Investigations. She's like, hey, I think Alpha Jolly, the guy from Alpha Jolly, has something to do with my father dying. Also, like Keith is then like, okay, like let's chat this through. Like, did your dad have any known enemies? And she's like, well, someone was shitting in our ice machine, so I think like they probably didn't like us. And we get a nice little scene of like her and Veronica bonding.
Oh, and before that,
getting-
she says like someone pooped in the ice machine, and he said, I think that's a solid theory. And we get a full moment of everybody looking at Keith with disgust before coming back. It's a pitch perfect moment because it's like, it reminds me of Arrested Development when Anyang would say Anyang, and literally the scene would stop and everybody would stare at him like he's like said the craziest thing on earth. Also, R.I.P. Jessica Walter.
Yeah.
I feel really sad that
we lost our matriarch.
Totally. And I think, as you said earlier, I mean, she deserved better than the Arrested Development set.
I think, yeah, that she created a absolutely lovable, hateable character.
Absolutely.
And that was all her. It was not the dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, it's exactly how she
Yes.
behaved. You could have put anything in front of her, and that's how it would have come out.
Totally. Like, just there's a scene that was passed around today that I remembered where she's talking to Lucille Ostero, played by Liza Minnelli. And they're both trading barbs back and forth, like just general digs at each other. And it's just like, oh, it must be so hard, like not seeing your husband like being out like this or something like that. And then like they go back and forth, and eventually Lucille is like, at least my husband's coming home, not like yours is in an urn. And just the way she says it is just so fucking devastating.
Yes. She is a very talented lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her and the actress who plays Emily Gilmore are my inspirations for all levels of petty and bitchiness in my life. Yep. I'm ever like, I need to pull out my like angry white woman, my entitled white woman. Those are the two women I channel. The characters they played, obviously not the women themselves.
Exactly. For all intents and purposes, very lovely women.
Yes. From what I've read, they both seem like great people to be around.
Yeah, but true, absolute legend. There's like not a moment that passes where I think there's at least once a day we do the like, I don't understand question and I will not respond to it.
Yeah, I don't understand and I will not respond to it. I don't care for Job.
Yes. And one more is it's Job and Michael talking about it, and he's like, you have to get rid of the C word, and she's like, I will leave when I'm good and ready.
That's my bitch. But so yes, we get a very comedically timed moment with Keith, Maddie, and Veronica.
Yes, that's just right.
He's everyone's dad now. So then Veronica's like, Maddie, do you get bored easily? And Maddie's like, no, why? And Veronica's like, cool, we're going on a stakeout. So then they're sitting in Veronica's car, waiting outside of Alpha Jolly to get a photo of the man who had refilled the vending machine that Maddie is suspicious of because he has a mole. I mean, she's not suspicious because he has a mole, but she can identify him because he has a mole.
If someone like that with a mole has not gone to a doctor to get it checked out.
Says person with moles. And while they're sitting there, Maddie looks at Veronica and she's like, when your friend was murdered, were you angry? And Veronica's like, I'm still angry. And then Maddie's like, my dad was all I had. And then we're like, oh, God.
Absolutely.
So then Veronica is like, I understand what helps people in this scenario, having something to do. She's like, okay, you're going to take the photos. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to position the lens this way. You're going to click that button when you see him because you're going to recognize him first. Because actions and taking aligned action towards a desired outcome usually makes us feel better.
Yeah. And I think that's what the nice thing about this show being later is they can like look back on this as like this thing that happened in her life, which they kind of do in season 2, but like the proximity is really close to it. and it's more about like the case rather than like actually like the effect it has on her of like losing a friend.
Season 2 is just fucking weird with the spaghetti thrown at the wall and the bus crash and the Duncan who's
Yeah.
well-adjusted Duncan who's no longer well-adjusted Duncan who then just like disappears because nobody liked him.
Totally. But it gets really at the human cost associated with this like devastating thing that happened to her when her younger, and now she like dealt with it.
Exactly. So the man comes out, Maddie gets the photos, and then Veronica gets the license plate on his car so that she could send all the photos to Keith to do the legwork. Because that's important, is to manage your father.
Yes, of course.
So then Keith does the legwork. He gets the car owner's name. It's a woman. He kind of does some digging around, calls some different places to try to figure out who she is and who the man is.
Mm-hmm.
And they figure out that it's Perry Walsh is her boyfriend. And Perry Walsh is the man with the mole.
Yes.
So Keith goes into the police department. And he's like, here's a photo of this guy. He was the one filling the vending machine. Like, it's just, this is what makes sense. This is what we know. Like, do with it what you want. And the policewoman is very rude to Keith. And then as soon as he leaves, she's like, did you mobilize the SWAT teams? We need to move in on Perry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a very different type of quote unquote bad police.
Mm-hmm.
Like before they were corrupt. Now they're just inept.
Yeah, now they just suck.
Uh-huh.
And like don't want help. And
Right.
Don't want to help people.
Yeah, they're prideful and
Yeah.
and inept rather than prideful and
Corrupt.
actively
corrupt.
Uh-huh.
So then we cut over to Logan. He's like Mr. Senator. That's what I'm gonna call him. Mr. Senator.
Mr. Senator.
I'm gonna go for the night, stay in this room, and so he leaves the senator alone with his nicotine gum.
And you just fucking know that this
he's gonna
idiot
leave.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't just call the front desk.
Mm-hmm. Why would he, as a congressman, why would he not, like, he would have have had access to, like, being able to get security otherwise.
I don't think a lot of people get, I mean, he could get security, but just not, like, Secret Service.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, Congress people don't have, like, active security with him all the time, but he would have been able to, like, make calls to have, like, a security team.
Oh, yeah, and he could have definitely, like, paid for a security team.
Right, after, like, all that stuff happened. So it's just funny that, like, it's like Logan is the one-man band.
Exactly. Then we find Logan and Veronica. They go to the Murder Heads party. It is the strangest meeting party. Rendezvous.
Yeah, it's that similar nerd punching down that this show loves so much. Of like, look at these
entitled nerds.
Yeah, think that they know better. Like, they're just like, this woman's just a weird librarian.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a pizza guy. They think they know, like, how to solve crime, which is just annoying and is just caricature from without actually engaging what Reddit sleuthers would actually be like, or like what that like actually is. But it's like that same thing of like, he wants to be self-important, like within the group to impress the girl, and then the guy's making fun of him. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And the guy who makes fun of him makes me really uncomfortable.
Clark Duke.
I don't like that character.
That actor plays that character in pretty much everything.
I don't like that character. I don't know the actor personally to make a comment on him as a person, but I can say that I have never seen him portray a character that I enjoyed.
Yeah, he's just always that. I double checked, looked up Clark Duke before that because I'm like, oh yeah, I know the guy. Let's get the name, and didn't see anything. So yeah. I mean.
He probably is a perfectly fine dude.
Exactly.
But just giving awful roles.
Yeah, just fills that role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mr. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, God.
That's it. Yeah, that's the movie that sticks out in my mind for him. Where he plays that, but like slightly more like less entitled.
Mm-hmm. We get this this whole scene with them just there and them talking to the people and going through some of the old cases. And Veronica's like, can you just get to the showing me the evidence that you have that you think this is why Maloof did it? And he's like, well, they gave me the bullet. They're the piece of shrapnel that was in my back from the thing, and it's from this company. He's got like all these loose threads that don't add up. And he's like, that's why it's the Maloofs. And
it was made in Arizona on a native reservation. And
the Maloofs had like petitioned against or something.
Daniel Maloof is the head of like the committee on like indigenous affairs or something, like something like that.
Got it.
Within the government. So yeah, like weird loose connection that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I did like the stuff of them all discussing the Lily Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Other than and like the fact that they even have like a nickname for it, like one of the Clark Duke calls
Lily Kane, the
DLK, and they have like conflicting theories because it's this big event within this world because obviously if you were not participating in it or something like we heard about it, be like, oh my God, that's like wild. I had never heard about this story, which is like a good framing for it. Like looking back as like this big, weird true crime event now.
And I think it's also interesting. I left this out earlier when we were talking to Maddie when she first walks into Keith and Veronica at Mars Investigation. She's like, yeah, the pizza guy basically thinks you're the real deal. For the most part, I mean, he thinks you got these things wrong, but he also thinks Joan Benet Ramsey was killed by an owl. Uh-huh. So, like, we know he's not always right. And so, like, in case you had any questions on if this pizza guy was an unreliable narrator, they were like, let me lay it out to you from a 16-year-old girl. He is an unreliable narrator. This man does not know and they did that before this scene, which I think is really important because it really tells you, like, okay, don't trust what he says has little merit, which you already feel that way, but you're like, are they gonna...
Right.
Yeah, like, are they gonna feed us this? You know what I mean? Or, like, is it something so ridiculous that it's gonna be like, the pizza guy's right?
Right, exactly. You kind of realize it's just gonna be a dead end.
Yeah, exactly. So while they're there, the senator runs out of nicotine gum. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go get my own. So he leaves his hotel room and he goes downstairs and he walks out of the hotel and Alonzo and Dodi see him. They're watching. But all of a sudden a van pulls up and then he's gone. And so they're like, oh God, he got into that van. So they start following that van. The van that picked him up was Tawny's family. They've taken him to the middle of nowhere so that they can throw rocks at him and try to find out where the ring is because they don't care about their sister. They only care about getting the money from that ring.
Yeah, like cartoonishly so. Yeah, she should have died.
Yeah, we don't care about her. And it's like, okay, so white people are obviously not the most discriminated against by any stretch of the imagination. But the impoverished and like the poverty-stricken white people...
Classist, yeah.
Yeah, this is absolutely classist, and it's also like it feeds that narrative, and it feeds that narrative for groups that fit into that, like any sort of low income group in general, but especially low income white people. Like there tends to be this like weird divide that is then fed by the elitism of like the city people. You know, it's like this, it's just trash. It's absolute trash. It's lazy writing and it's stupid.
Yeah, totally.
You can make white people the villain. In fact, I think we should make white people the villain because white people usually are the villains. And you could even tell the story of these characters, but like we get the explanation for why Alonzo and Dodi are literally working for like a drug lord. We assume, we don't really know what the whole deal there is.
that's not, it's not better.
They're just more likable. But we get a backstory for them, and we don't get a backstory for this group of people. But it's also like it's lazy. It's just like we needed a reason for him to be taken.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't serve a greater purpose. It doesn't help the plot. It's just it's just annoying. These
gross, freeloading, violent
that we can just throw in whenever we need.
Totally, yeah.
Which is better than him getting taken by PCHers. Like they could have done so much worse, but they also could do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it'd even be better if we had the white boys who showed up at the pizza shop take him.
Yeah.
Like racists take him. That would make more sense because it's like, okay. And I'm not saying that Tawny's family isn't racist, but it doesn't really seem like they are. It seems like they're solely money driven.
I think it's also implied that I think in the first scene, from last week, they call him something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But regardless, yeah, it's just odd to me. Like, I'm just like, this whole plot point with Tawny and her family, it's like, no.
it's bad. It's not engaging at all
Mm-mm.
either. So
Well, and it just, it feeds this weird narrative. The whole show
Yeah.
obviously feeds weird stereotypes, but I
yeah,
think,
especially about poor people.
yeah, so, exactly. Interesting, huh? Considering
Mhm.
it's supposed to be showing like the underdog and the scrappy people fighting against the wealthy, but it's
Right.
like,
But it's from the person that lost the wealth, so she was never really part of them anyway. She is just like now ostracized between multiple groups.
But she was still raised in like a single income like household. Like, I can't imagine a sheriff Keith was making a lot of money.
She was part of the like
O-Niners.
O-Niners. Yeah,
she was
wasn't
friends with them.
exactly. And they used to have like a house
Mhm.
before like, he got ostracized and all that. So it, like they weren't poor, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's just, it's interesting how the town seems to show one or the other. The only people who are middle class are Veronica, who's technically like lower middle class, Mac, and Wallace.
Right. And then the poor people are usually in something.
Yep, exactly. Because, obviously when you're low income, you join a motorcycle collective.
Exactly.
It's just odd. But so while they're doing that, Alonzo and Dodi followed them. We then cut really quickly back to the murder heads meeting, and everyone gets a notification that when the SWAT team showed up to come get Perry, he blew himself up.
Yes.
So everyone's like, gotta go. Like, obviously all the theories you have are wrong, sir.
One thing I did want to that I forgot to mention on the first scene with the murder heads, Carol, the woman librarian, says, "Oh, why are we not talking about Gabriel? Gabriel is the nephew of El Despiadado."
Yes. That is very helpful.
So,
Thank you.
just something for later.
So then we cut over to Alonzo and Dodi. They basically like rescue the senator, but they're like taking him to killing themselves because they need, to do their job.
Right. They need to actually do it.
And so then they're in the car and the radio station tells them that they caught Perry, who was who was credited with setting the bomb. So they're like, well, I guess we should kill him anyway, just because he's here. And then we get that weird moment where, again, like as you mentioned, Dodi tries to speak to Alonzo in Spanish, and Alonzo's like, do it in English. And you're like, why?
Yeah, it's this weird thing of like, we got to blend in, and not that they would
in a car with the senator,
right, with the person you're gonna kill. But I get it, like also that they're like, well, we're gonna kill him anyway, like laws, like it doesn't matter, he can hear it. But also at the same time, like I don't know why they're erasing the like code switching.
Yeah.
I can't parse in my head why they would do that.
Yeah, what makes sense for that?
Yeah, why not have them like speak English and Spanish? Like that happens all the time in Southern California. Like that's 100% commonplace.
Well, and it'd be a nice parallel to how the Maloofs do it.
Yeah.
So it's like with Arabic, it's like, oh, okay, like when they're trying to talk amongst themselves, they don't speak English.
Totally.
Because it's like that's the one language the two groups have in common.
Right.
I mean, I think Logan probably speaks them all. We don't really know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. At least Arabic, because it's strongly implied that he's doing things in the Middle East, which would make sense because he's part of the American military. But I don't know. It's maybe. Yeah, I'm having a hard time wrapping around my head why they make that decision for these two characters, other than maybe some like wrong-headed thing about like not looking down on like Latinx people, but then they're also killers. And
yeah, then why make them Latinx to begin with? Why not just have this be like
and then
an
also,
American like gang?
Totally right, because then they're like you're fitting all these weird stereotypes of like they're from Mexico and they're from a gang, and they like kill people, and they're extremely dangerous.
El Espiadado.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like it's
you're weird. Feeding right into it.
So, but he's like, please don't. I will pay you to not kill me, and also I'll pay you more money if you get rid of those two men that tried to kill me. And they're like, huh, okay, like we're into this.
Yeah, sure.
So then we assume that they take him home. We assume they drop him off his little
Yes.
carpool lane. Maybe he gets his nicotine gum.
Exactly.
So
You
then
go get him Nicorette.
Logan and Veronica are at home. He kisses her. She says she won't have sex with him because he's playing volleyball tomorrow, and he has to save his legs.
Yeah.
She's like 100 pounds. Like, what possibly?
I didn't know if it was like a joke and then the knock at the door came.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't get it.
It was a
Or
weird
it's
thing.
like, oh, if you have sex, does it make you a worse volleyball player?
I don't know if she's like joking about like there's like the thing with like if you're a boxer you're not supposed to have sex beforehand. It'll like I don't know.
What'll it do?
It'll fuck you up, I guess. You won't have the drive. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what it is.
you
but
gotta
like,
be
it's
horny
like
to hit people good.
Yes.
Huh.
Gotta be bustling with testosterone.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's a thing. So
I had no
that's the
idea.
only thing I can connect to it.
As someone without a winky
Mm-hmm.
or a penis, I mean, we can use anatomically correct terms here. I just like winky.
Mm-hmm.
I would never know that.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Mm-hmm. In my boxing days, you know.
In your boxing days? Oh, did you
Yeah.
not have sex before your matches?
No, I wasn't having sex at all.
When did you do boxing, Brendan?
Never done boxing.
I can't imagine you picking boxing as a sport.
No, but I wanted to do karate.
Oh, yeah, we should take karate. After
yeah.
this is over, we're gonna take a self-defense class or a martial arts class of some sort.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Because I want you to learn to do a front roll, and almost every martial art form makes you learn to do a front roll.
God, they're gonna keep me after class to be able to. Brendan, why don't you stay after and we'll really get into this?
It's not gonna work. I've spent years trying to teach you.
We don't have enough time to stop everybody else learning their moves for you to just figure this out.
Just flop.
Yeah, just
It's
stay
like
over
you
there.
go to do a front roll, and instead of tucking, you stiffen your entire body.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good. I can tell you that.
We'll work on it. But anyway, there's a knock at the door. It's Keith. He came over to watch the news with Veronica because he'd gotten rid of his cable program or package because he was like, I don't need it.
Another weird thing about Hulu.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I just stream now. And then she's like, oh, so then you come over to use my TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Keith and Veronica sit there to watch the TV, but before Logan leaves, he's like, hey, Keith, I want to show you this thing. He's like, Veronica won't think it's good because it's crude or whatever, but like, here's this photo of this kid shitting in an ice box.
Scatological. That's what it was.
Scatological, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And they're like, huh, weird. It's the guy who was pooping in the icebox at the hotel. And Veronica's like, yeah, that guy mugged me the other day. And they're like, both Keith and Logan are like, what? And she's like, oh, I tased him and I like took his wallet and all the wallets and phones he had. And they're like, you didn't tell us? And she's like, it's been busy.
Yeah. Hey, I get it.
You get
forget
back
things.
from your run at 5 a.m., you throw down your bag of 5 wallets and 6 phones.
Especially at 5 a.m. I mean, you start your day, you forget.
So then Veronica and Keith are watching the news and they're talking about how, oh my gosh, what's the...
Langdon?
Perry.
Perry Walsh.
Perry Walsh had also done time at Chino. And they're like, oh, Clyde did time at Chino. Big Dick did time at Chino. If the boy that tried to mug me, he was paid in like all these crisp $100 bills. Like if he didn't do time at Chino, I bet the person who he's working under did. And Veronica's like, I have this theory that everything ties back to Chino. And so she's like, Dad, we should probably do a little investigating. So then the dad calls in Clyde and he's like, you know what? We'll take your case. We will help you try to find your wife. And Clyde's like, thanks. We get a weird Allbirds product placement about Allbirds for old men for golfing.
It's super quick.
Like, why isn't Veronica doing the Allbirds ad?
I don't know. It must be that they're trying to sport it for older people. I guess.
For men.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, hey, are those Allbirds? It's like, yeah, they're great. And then it's like, speaking of great.
No, it's like, oh, like I like to wear my Allbirds to the golf course or whatever.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was.
And then Clyde, so we get through the product placement. We get through Keith and Clyde's like, hey, Keith, why do you have a cane? And Keith's like, I was in a car accident a couple years ago. And Clyde's like, well, why don't you let me hook you up with one of the doctors that I know that can help you like rehab that, physical therapy it, the whole thing. And Keith is like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, I'll pay for it. I'll take care of it. Like I can do it on Big Dick. He's like, don't even worry about it, because he's like, listen. And then he plays Keith some of the voice notes he gets on this recorder that he gets from Big Dick. That's
I'm assuming it's left on his desk.
Yeah. That's just like random voice notes that are like, buy this or offer $2 million for this apartment so that I can give so and so this. Also, I need a massage. I want to buy a massage table for Dick Jr. for his birthday.
Yeah.
And so Keith is like, you know what? All right, I'll take the information.
Yeah, they kind of they're like having a buddy moment. Like it's
Yeah.
like, damn, okay, like you're actually Keith's
You
like
get
you're
it.
kind of cool. Yeah.
So then Veronica gets there, and Keith is like, you know what, Veronica? Maybe we should just take the win. Like, I don't really think Clyde has anything to do with this. Even when he robbed banks, he didn't carry a loaded gun. Apparently, he helped some woman give birth during a robbery. Just like
Right.
weird things.
Hey, he's a robber with a heart of gold.
Exactly. And so Veronica's like, all right, Dad, but I don't think that's right. And he's like, whatever. So they go over to the Maloof hotel room.
Real quick, there's I forgot the third pillar of the Chino conspiracy is the guy who let the rats loose at Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
And then also Keith had spoken to Maddie's teacher. Someone is trying to buy the sea sprite from Maddie.
Veronica spoke to Wallace, who's Maddie's teacher.
Thank you. I had that wrong.
But same plot point. But I was like, no, it was Wallace.
Yeah, you're right.
You forgot Wallace.
I really should have written down Wallace. How could I forget Wallace? I'm beating myself. Wallace.
It's
Come back. Where are you going?
It's okay. I get it. We see him in a little bit. So then they go to the Maloofs to basically like check out. They're like, hey, we think this is done. You can pay us now.
I'm just imagining them.
Or they paid him per hour or whatever anyway. So they're like, basically they're getting paid for all they've done so far. And the Maloofs are like, do you really think that you got the right guy? And Keith is like, I really do. And Veronica looks at Alex Maloof, who's just like like obviously his fiance was blown up.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't think we got the right guy. Mm-hmm. But you know.
Yeah. Also in this scene, Daniel says that he got the scab in the shower.
Oh yeah. He says he got hurt from he
scab.
hit his head on the mirror because he stubbed his toe on the sink.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Logan compliments how he hasn't asked for a cigarette all day.
Yeah.
They beat his nicotine addiction out of him. God.
Or he's just fucking so freaked out that he is no longer needs a cigarette.
So then Keith goes to the fancy doctor. They tell Keith, the fancy doctor's like, call me next time you have a forgetful episode, which seems like a really hard thing to remember.
Right.
I know it's not like that. Like, that's not how they're portraying it for Keith, but I was like, could you imagine?
That he's
You're like, well, I'm supposed to do something when this happens.
Oh, God, right. And he's supposed to write it down every time, too.
Yeah, every time. Or like, what's happening, what's going on. And then they do an MRI, and they give him these cool little earbuds to wear in the MRI, which I don't know if you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I would never pretend like I understand how that works. But when I did an MRI, I just had to sit there and make up sounds to the beeps.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you'd be able to do that, but what do I know?
I took a couple Ativans because I was very claustrophobic. They were doing it on my head and my neck. And I will say, like, once the Ativan kicked in, I was like, I could write techno music.
Emily's ambient career started then.
On MRI machines only?
Exactly. She started sampling MRI machines, dishwashers. She starts making music with all these drone sounds. It's incredible.
Oh, can you turn on your air conditioner for me? Let me record it.
They call her the next Brian Eno.
But yeah, so we get that Keith took Clyde up on his offer. We cut over to Weevil. Weevil's having a barbecue with the family, and his sister's coming, and she's bringing her new man. But before that, someone walks up to Weevil, a young man who is a PCHer and trying to mug Veronica early this episode.
Yes,
because they only decided to pay one kid to be a PCHer.
Totally, exactly. We don't have the crew.
He's like, your sister is here and she has someone she wants you to meet.
Yeah.
And Weevil's like, okay.
Sister is Claudia.
Claudia gets there. We find out that she is the person who Alonzo is having his little thing with his girlfriend, boyfriend. I don't know if they're official. I don't know what they're calling each
Exactly.
other.
They're feeling it out.
Exactly.
They're just excited, and that's all it is.
So Weevil, being Weevil, basically threatens this man, but in a nice way.
Yes. And recognizes his tattoo.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, you from Mexico?
Yeah. He's like, okay, like, did you have anything to do? And he's like, we didn't set off any bombs. And he's like, that didn't answer my question, but like, okay, like, don't hurt her.
Right, totally.
Like, I'm watching you.
Right, yeah. Are you up here is your business up here because of the bombing? And he's like,
Basically.
we didn't set off any bombs. He's like, that doesn't answer my question.
Yeah. So we basically and then Alonzo's like, Claudia's like, how is it? And Alonzo's like, it's fine. Your brother's a nice guy. And so we're like, okay, like, he's not going to mess with Weevil, we don't think.
No. Yeah. I like this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully get more Weevil. Great to see Weevil.
It is always great to see Weevil and Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go over back to the Party Czar and Logan. They're playing beach volleyball for spring breaks, like this event for it, I guess. And
yeah, I don't quite understand either, but
so in the
it's
stands,
a volleyball tournament.
Yeah, we have Veronica, we have Wallace, we have Nicole, a whole bunch of other people, but those are the ones we know.
Other 30-somethings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really odd. It's spring break for adults.
Yes, it is.
Honestly, like I would go to a spring break for adults. Like maybe.
I don't know.
It depends on like how nice it is.
Yeah.
Not the way they're portraying this one, but like if it was just like the way the in crowd's having fun, like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're like that crowd is doing nice.
But the boys play volleyball against women who are pro volleyball players.
Yeah, I was hoping I would be able to find it, but they weren't credited on IMDb.
So it could have been anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, damn, I would like to know which volleyball players.
And Veronica's watching. We're watching them play. They're getting their asses kicked because these women are really talented. A lot of dick falling and getting hit in the face by a ball.
Great job.
Yeah, we love that. We love physical comedy when it hurts dick.
Exactly. Ryan Hansen, great job.
Exactly. He seems like all in all a pretty fun guy to be around.
Yeah, totally.
But then like mid game, a bomb goes off. There's an explosion. Everyone runs, screams. Veronica's like, see, I knew something was up. I knew we hadn't finished the case. And the episode ends.
Yeah. I wish I wasn't right.
Yep. Me too, bitch. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you hate being right.
Totally. Especially when bombs are fucking going off.
Yeah. No, that's never happened to me. I can't relate to that one at all.
Yeah. The metaphorical bombs in your life.
Oh, God. As a life and career coach, if I ever said anything like that to someone, I would be a little concerned about myself.
Well, where can people find information on your life and career coaching?
They can find information on my life and career coaching on butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. And I am a life and career coach. I will not use the metaphor of bombs because I find it problematic.
Yeah. I'm not in the life and career coaching industry.
You are not, and that's fine. And that's we love you regardless of your career choices. And in spite of them.
I was gonna I guess it depends on what the career choice is, huh?
Yeah. I help people figure out what they want to do with their lives, how to switch jobs, make more money, have good interviews, get their shit together, set goals. In general, just like make your life a little more functional for you. All in all, we have lots of fun. You can schedule a free discovery call if you're a new client, or you can book a call on my website.
Wow, yeah, we don't have a podcast to plug because we plugged it already.
Plugged it.
Yep, and you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. Send us an email, marsrewatch@gmail.com. You can also catch us on our Let's Play, playing through Outer Wilds, Exploring Space, on my YouTube channel, Burger Discourse, and you can find me on Twitter at PyleBrenton. That's PyleBrendon.
All right, stay toasted, marshmallows.